Welcome back to the news at 10. Nigeria has been able to effectively tackle the Ebola virus threat, but must remain vigilant in this regard to make sure it does not recur in the nation. These were the words of Dr. Olani Ibidapo, a consultant to the Federal Ministry of Health, who also stressed the need for improvement in the nation's health sector.
To be watchful, because you can't control migration. People move from one spot to the other, and we need to be careful in terms of, what the government is doing right now. For example, right now at the ports, there are monitoring units that look at people that move into Nigeria by testing them and measuring their temperature. We need to continue in this process because we have not eradicated totally in West Africa. And as long as we cannot reduce or control migration, it has to be part of our system. We have serious problems with our health infrastructure in Nigeria, which I believe if we don't do something about quickly, we might have a problem in the future. We have seen how Nigerians move to other countries, Dubai and European countries to an Indian to go for treatment. That is a sign that we have infrastructural problem. We need to improve our infrastructure. If we want to have a good result, there is a need for the government, not only the government, private sectors, to invest in health infrastructure so that at the end of the day, the MDG's goals, will be achieved.
Well, a lot of lessons have been learned from the Ebola virus outbreak, and that's why the Ondo state government is leaving nothing to chance in curbing contagious diseases. The state government has set up an infectious disease hospital in Akure, the state capital, which it says is a purpose-built center to cater for victims of infectious diseases.
This is purposely built treatment center that basically is meant to take care of infectious diseases, not even only Ebola alone. There must be a pattern of movement in this kind of center, such that you don't, as health worker, contaminate and then infect other people as you're working here. And that's why we talk about the cold area, where the workers are sitting down quietly. The warm area where the contamination takes place, and the hot area where the patients are. And of course, that is what we have in this. It is purposely actually built. That's what I've come to show you. And the health workers are undergoing training now. The training is being rounded up, and they'll be here. We don't pray to have any case anyway, but we are just battle ready.
Now, Sterling Bank PLC has donated uniforms and other kits to the staff of the Lagos State Waste Management Authority, LOMA. At the 6th Street Sweepers Workshop organized by LOMA in conjunction with the management of Sterling Bank, the managing director of the bank, Mr. Yemi Adiola, said the donation is part of his corporate social responsibility to add value to the society.
It's the 6th Lagos Street Sweepers Workshop, an initiative of Sterling Bank PLC in partnership with the Lagos State Government. For the 6th consecutive year, Sterling Bank PLC is putting smiles on the faces of workers of the Lagos State Waste Management Authority, who could not hide their joy at the distribution of more than 10,000 uniforms and other kits.
Apart from supporting LOMA by providing 25,000 new kits for use by the highway managers and the LOMA team annually, we have also come up with our own initiatives in the area of environmental cleanliness. Sterling Bank has supported operators with funding to acquire trucks for refuse disposal.
From several few thousands to now over 15,000. These are 15,000 people who will never have had an opportunity. But today, many of you can get up and say to your family those very important words. the money, I am going to work.
And to whom much is given, much is expected. The management of Loma is also willing to justify this partnership by ensuring a cleaner and healthier environment.
The focus is the public health, to improve on the welfare and the health-being of citizens of Lagos. And I want to thank especially the Sterling Bank family for giving us the arm to lean on all along. I'm wearing this uniform proudly.
With this initiative, the one customer bank, Sterling Bank, says it's still in the business of enriching lives.
Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. Now, the federal government has announced plans to increase the nation's gross domestic product to $1.6 trillion by 2030. The Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Olusegun Aganga, who announced the plans in New Delhi, India, says the feat will be achieved through more foreign investments in the country.
It is a meeting between Indian investors and Nigerian officials who have come to woo businessmen to invest in power, manufacturing and agricultural sectors. Between January and March this year, trade relations between Nigeria and India rose to $3.9 billion. But the Minister of Trade and Investment says trade relations could be improved.
This is a graph that shows that Africa's largest economy is Nigeria. You can see the graph. Nigeria at about 510 billion. The next one is South Africa at 354 billion. And of course you have Egypt. So you can see the gap. Where do we expect the GDP to be? In 2030, according to McKinsey, it's supposed to triple to about 1.6 trillion. That tells you the potential we have as a country. And that tells you where it's important for you to come in now, not later.
The journey into trade ties between both countries has, over the years, led to the establishment of over 150 Indian companies in Nigeria. This, according to Indian investors, has created jobs for the nation's youths.
Nigeria and India share a very important strategic partnership in the sense that Nigeria is contributing very significantly to India's energy security. We are importing petroleum almost to the tune of $16 billion every year from Nigeria.
The first Indian company to be formed in Nigeria was more than 100 years ago, Chela. They have never left Nigeria. And to my reckoning, there are at least 150 Indian companies in Nigeria contributing through investments, through technology transfers, and these are almost in every sector.
The federal government's drive for foreign direct investments into the country has in the past yielded positive outcome. It is hoped that this meeting will achieve the expected results.
Well, that's all we can take on Business News tonight. The news at 10 continues in a moment.
We're still ahead on the news at 10. Kenyan president faces criminal charges. That's on the international scene. Please join us again.